Okay, next topic. Letitia James is getting charged with more alleged mortgage fraud. The New York Attorney General, who is infamous, if you will, for charging Donald Trump with all of those bogus felonies that we saw a couple of years ago out in New York. She's been charged that she had to, the prosecutors allege that she misrepresented key details on loan applications to secure lower interest rates and better terms, saving her approximately $18,933 in interest on her property in Virginia alone. I would like to know, I don't think attorney generals get paid that. I mean, they make a good living, but it's not that much. How many properties does this woman have, and where is her money coming from? I would be interested in finding that out. Here's what she had to say on that, though.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law.
Oh, that must suck. Oh, man. Who could have ever imagined a president doing something like this?
But to the president is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
You mean like taking people off the ballot and charging them with a bunch of BS trumped up charges?
This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice.
Nope, it's not. It's not. Sorry. The time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against the blatant perversion of justice was when Joe Biden was doing it to his political opponents 4 years ago. Was when I came on the air and told you, when you set precedents, you have to be ready for those precedents to be used against you. When I told you President Ron DeSantis is going to prosecute the entire Biden family. Now, I got the president wrong, but I had the idea right. And everybody involved in this case. I got the idea of what was going to happen right, though. That's what happened. I told you this was going to happen. You can go back and check the tapes, ladies and gentlemen. I told you the next Republican administration is going to come in and make what the Biden administration did to Trump and his associates look like a fucking birthday party. Payback's a bitch, ain't it? That's what I said, because, a former local talk radio host posted on his personal Facebook Wednesday about, and I won't tell you his name, but it rhymes with Schmom Schmecka, posted on his personal Facebook account. Let me see if I can go read it real quick. He had a take on this. Again, I'm not going to tell you who this guy was, but I'll read it to you in his voice. Okay, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I'll read it in his voice.
The Justice Department just indicted Letitia James. Tell me again how it's the Democrats who weaponized the Justice Department.
No idea who that was. Schmom Schmecka. I left a very simple comment. I simply said, payback's a bitch, ain't it? Because it really is. Because none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened had you guys just not persecuted your political opponents. Had you left Trump and his family alone, yeah, they might have run. They might not have won, though, because that mugshot really changed the game up. I mean, it backfired in so many different ways. But had you guys just not targeted your political opponents, had you just not bastardized the DOJ, to go after him and try to keep him out of the White House again. None of this is happening. Donald Trump wouldn't have known who Letitia James was. But you had to do it. So I told you so. You want to know how I know they started this? You want to know how I know they started this prosecuting your political opponents bullshit? Because in 2016, Donald Trump ran his entire campaign. It was a slogan. He had people chanting it at rallies. He was chanting along with them about Hillary Clinton. Lock her up. Lock her up. And he got to office and he spared her. He showed mercy on Hillary Clinton. He said, you know what? Because Trump actually understands the long game and how it works. I don't agree with Trump on everything, but Trump, like myself, is able to think more than 2 steps ahead of him. Trump can go, yeah, I can prosecute Hillary Clinton, and my base would eat that up. And, you know, it would be a fodder for the news, and I'd be all over talking about it. And, you know, it might feel real good to do it, but I'm going to leave office. And everybody gets their hands a little dirty when they're in office. And if I decide to start weaponizing the DOJ against my political opponents, they're probably going to do it to me. The Biden administration, like every other run-of-the-mill politician, because they have no real-life experience. That's what you got to realize. You wonder why these people are so stupid, and they can't see the next domino that's going to fall a couple down the line. The reason they don't, because they have no real-life experience. These are people that have lived sheltered, privileged lives. They've never had to work for shit. They've been in politics and government throughout their entire lives. They don't understand that actions have consequences that you may not be able to immediately see. And that's why the Biden administration didn't see a couple steps down the road that, hey, there's a chance this guy could take office again and do the same thing to us that we did to him. None of them get it. They're a bunch of privileged academics who have never as much as gotten their hands dirty in their lives. They've never had to work for anything, so they don't understand that actions have consequences. And like I said, consequences you may not be able to see until a couple years later. This is a consequence. So they're alleging she committed mortgage fraud. And here's what CNN had to say about this. I love this. I love how they play cover for her.
Aside for a second. What Tish James, and again, we're still getting the details, but if it's related to this mortgage issue, I mean, this is something that everyone in America, or many people at least, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy a house in America, you deal with
Thanks,
this,
Biden.
right? The federal government doesn't go after all of these people for doing this. Does that?
Well, there you go. Everybody, you heard it from CNN. Everybody in America commits mortgage fraud. I'm going to create a poll on the That Space with Caleb Salvatore Facebook group, but I want you to answer my question in the comments on YouTube and Rumble below. Those of you that own homes, did you commit mortgage fraud to get that home? According to CNN, which as we know is super reliable, everybody does it. Everybody commits mortgage fraud. Have these people never bought a home? I had these idiots. I shouldn't even tell this story. These people do everything when you buy a home, especially nowadays, short of giving you a colonoscopy to verify where your money is coming from. And maybe that's because I have all these investments and stuff that all like 1099s and stuff like that coming in that are hard to track. So maybe it was a little bit different for me. All I'm saying is it would have been very, very difficult for me to lie about where my money was coming from without falsifying some type of invoice or document. I don't know what she did. This is all alleged, what she allegedly did. This is all alleged. She hasn't been convicted. She's innocent until proven guilty, of course. But the idea that everyone just lies a little bit on their mortgage, anyone who's telling you that has not bought a house in the last 20 years. Because you really can't. You really can't unless you take a document and make it say something that it did not say. By the way, I looked it up because she has a house in Virginia and New York. The annual salary of the Attorney General of New York is $250,000 a year, which is a good living, but houses in New York, specifically, she has to live within city limits. I mean, you're looking at upwards of $1 million. The average price of a home in Virginia is around $500,000. How does she afford 2 houses on that salary? That's a good living, don't get me wrong. How does she afford 2 houses on that salary, though? That's what we're missing here. Who's funding that beach home in Virginia? Because you might be able, on like $250,000, say like a lawyer making $250,000 a year, you might be able to, with your partners, all chip in and get like a condo or something that you guys can go to and party at and, take your families up there or whatever. But 2 homes, a beach home on $250,000 a year in one of the most, if not the most expensive market in the country? I'm less interested in the alleged mortgage fraud and more interested in where her money's coming from. Here's what she tweeted, though. Let Letitia James tell you. She tweeted this a couple years ago. And I quote, "When powerful people cheat to get better loans, it comes at the expense of hardworking people. Everyday Americans cannot lie to a bank to get a mortgage, and if they did, our government would throw the book at them. There simply cannot be different rules for different people." I love social media. I love social media because every time somebody gets caught up in some bullshit and they try to play it off as it wasn't a big deal, we have in writing, next to their stupid face and their stupid name, them saying the opposite. You can't run from your words when they've been made permanent, etched in the stone that is the internet, ladies and gentlemen. If you take nothing else... Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.